Alright, good. So in this lesson we took notes, and we know that a function is, for every input, I only have one output. We're going to be looking at some tables. I made my tables look a little differently. One is horizontal and one is vertical, mainly because tables come in different shapes and sizes. So I don't want that to ever confuse you, so I want to make sure that you're able to see it in two different ways. So let's look at problem A. And I know it's asking me whether if it's a function or not. And we already said that a function is every input there is one output. So if we were to look at problem A, this is my input and this is my output. So for every input, I only have one output. So my input's 1, my output's 7, my input's 3, my output's 16, my input is 5, my output's 19, my input's 5. Wait a minute. I already said 5 was going to be 19. This also says 5 is also going to be 20. We said every input only has one output, but this has two inputs. Automatically, I know if I have two inputs that are the same number and they're both giving me different outputs, then it's not going to be a function. But since we are mathematicians, we need to justify our answers. So automatically, we already said it's going to be no. And say no, the table cannot represent a function. This is great. However, we need a because. Because, we're going to say, because the input of 5 has two different outputs. So which makes it not a fun. Which makes it not a function. All right. Just to recap, we said no, the table cannot represent a function because the input of 5 has two different outputs, which makes it not a function. So my x values, I see I have 2, 5. It automatically makes it not a function. So every input, there's only one output. So now let's take a look at this table. So I don't know if you just caught that. If I know my x values or my inputs are repeating, then I know it is not a function. So let's try to take that little shortcut in this next one. So problem B, my inputs, and then I have my outputs. Well, I want to focus on my inputs. I know if they are repeating, then it's not going to be a function. So I have 10, 20, 50, 75, 90. None of them are repeating. So is this going to be a function? We're going to say yes. This table represents a function. Don't forget our because. Every input has one output. So I scooted up. We said yes, the table represents a function because every input has one output. So none of my x values or none of my inputs were repeating. So I know they ended up with one output.